age verification and parental consent for kids using smartphone apps is moving forward as legal challenges continue. Attorney Travis Crabtree specializes in online issues.
There are serious competing interests, the safety of our kids versus the First Amendment of the Constitution.
Polling shows strong public backing for the measure. An Ohio man is speaking out after posting a viral video of his white mother, Julie Marie Wendell, using a racial slur against him during a heated altercation. Brian Wendell says the behavior isn't new, calling it something he's endured his whole life. The father of two says he's in the process of moving out of her house. And a Loganville, Georgia high school community is mourning the loss of a black 16-year-old football player at Loganville High School. Gunner Redding Bible died after a long battle with rare illnesses, including lupus, after weeks of intensive care. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Watch us on Facebook Live. Then hear us on WBOK1230.com.
Yo, turn it up. It's Gerod on the air, spitting truth in the booth. We ain't going nowhere. New Orleans City got us hard in the beat, but corruption creeping in, gotta take back the street. Gotta take back the street. From the French Quarter vibes to the Ninth Ward grind, he's the voice of the people, yo, he's one of a kind. Talking about the struggle, the hustle, the pain, but with each word he drops, he's bringing power to the game. Gerod on the radio, calling out the lies, bringing light to the dark, keeping hope in our eyes. He's the voice of the people, making changes unfold. In the city of NOLA, we're reclaiming our soul. Try to silence the truth, but he's loud and clear. From the bayou to the block, everyone can hear. Got the people united, it's a movement, no doubt. With his mic in hand, he's breaking all the clout. City eat the official scheming, yeah, they playing it slick. But Gerod's on the line and he's ready to kick. For the schools and the streets, he's fighting the fight. With a heart full of passion, he's igniting the night. Gerod on the radio, calling out the lies, bringing light to the dark, keeping hope in our eyes. He's the voice of the people, making changes unfold. In the city of NOLA, we're reclaiming our soul. From the jazz in the streets to the gumbo pot, he's the pulse of the city, giving all he's got. Together we rise, united we stand. With Gerod on the radio, we're taking back our land. So tune in, y'all, let the truth resonate. With Gerod on the mic, we're rewriting our fate. In New Orleans, the power is ours to embrace. Keep it real, keep it loud, let's uplift this place. In the streets to the gumbo pot, he's the pulse of the city, giving all he's got. Together we rise, united we stand. With Gerod on the radio, we're taking back our land. So tune in, y'all, let the truth resonate. With Gerod on the mic, we're rewriting our fate. In New Orleans, the power is ours to embrace. Keep it real, keep it loud, let's uplift this place. Gerod on the radio, calling out the lies, bringing light to the dark, keeping hope in our eyes. He's the voice of the people, making changes unfold. In the city of NOLA, we're reclaiming our soul. Yeah, tuning out, let the truth resonate. With Gerod on the mic, we're rewriting our fate. In New Orleans, the power is ours to embrace. Keep it real, keep it loud, let's uplift this place. Gerod on the radio, calling out the lies, bringing light to the dark, keeping hope in our eyes. He's the voice of the people, making changes unfold. In the city of NOLA, we're reclaiming our soul. Yeah, let the truth resonate. With Gerod on the mic, we're rewriting our fate. In New Orleans, the power is ours to embrace. Keep it loud, let's uplift this place. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
What's going on, good people? What's going on? What's the date? Thursday? Thursday. I'm telling you, my days are messed up, and way messed up. It is the reality check. And she's in the building, y'all. The attorney extraordinaire, sitting right here. Who is that? The one and only Suzette Bagnaris is in the building.
I'm riding in the bus.
Today is Petty Bus 2. You gonna let me drive?
You can drive.
What? She let me drive the Petty Bus. I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know what I'm feeling. What am I feeling? I'm feeling petty. I'm feeling petty. So, yep, I'm driving the Petty Bus today because it's Petty Thursday. Petty Thursday, and we getting petty.
And I'm going to tell y'all the number's 504-582-9422. I encourage you to call in early.
Just petty.
Because in the last few days, we've had so many people trying to call, and they're not all getting on.
Nope.
So if you want to make a comment, if you want to talk to us, you're going to have to call in early. Don't wait till the end of the show because you may not get in.
Petty.
I can't tell you how many people are saying, I tried to call.
I'm petty. I'm being petty.
Oh, I know you're being petty. Well, today, I'm going to just frame the issue for you. Then you can go on driving the bus.
Which one?
Who in Louisiana is actually held accountable?
Who do you know?
Because right now, all across this state, we're watching controversy after controversy unfold involving public officials, law enforcement leaders, government agencies, and taxpayer institutions. A sheriff is arrested after allegedly assaulting a critic in a steakhouse. A flood protection police chief is placed on leave after questions about his contract, salaries, and political power struggles. A youth recreation agency charged with protecting children is accused of failing to properly do background checks of many of its adults working with the kids. And in every single one of these stories, the public is asking, are the rules real? Or are the rules only being applied to certain people?
To you.
We just passed laws talking tough about incompetence, malfeasance, ethics, and public accountability. Okay, that's fine. But if accountability is real and it's being fairly applied, then why is Randy Smith still in office in St. Tammany Parish? And why isn't the governor called for him to be removed for moral turpitude?
Because he was drunk and he was beating up folks.
Correct. Why is it just public officials in New Orleans that are being removed from office and they're them called incompetent and their decision making being questioned? Because apparently Randy Smith over in St. Tammany Parish has a few issues. And I just want to know, why is he still able to do his job, but yet, public officials in Orleans Parish seem to be held accountable with different rules?
Because he beat you up.
That's the best answer you can give me?
That's all I could come up with right now. Because he'll beat you up.
Okay.
He get that liquor in him.
All right.
And he won't beat you up.
But it seems to be, to me,
and he's still the sheriff,
that black public officials seem to be held to a different standard. And there also seems to be a narrative at play that black law enforcement officials are not allowed to earn in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Their behavior is criminalized if they're high earners, whereas there seems to be no such penalty for people who are not black. So the controversy surrounding the Southeast Louisiana Flood Protection Authority East. We're going to talk about Joshua Rondino's salary and contract today. The dual role arrangement, the self-drafted contract concerns, the severance controversy, the paid leave pending investigation situation, and the massive expansion of police influence inside a flood protection agency.
So they did what to Randino? Hold on. If you want to there.
Oh, you're right on time.
That's what I'm talking
You are
about.
right on time.
Yeah,
That's what we're talking about.
You need to teach Wick a couple of things.
My goodness, that was right on time. It threw me for a loop because it was right on time.
Blow the horn, boy. Blow the horn. That's what I'm talking about. Now, what you say?
All right, so I'm going to frame it. So
right.
as of now,
I need you to put your seatbelt on.
Superintendent Joshua Rondino of the Louisiana Flood Protection Authority East has not been fired, but he has been placed on paid administrative leave pending investigation. According to statements attributed to Governor Jeff Landry advisor Shane Guidry, that in and of itself is questionable, Rondino was placed on leave late Wednesday. The agency said it could not discuss the investigation publicly, and 2 police captains, one from Orleans Parish and one from Jefferson Parish, are temporarily overseeing operations. The controversy surrounding Rondino escalated after lawmakers started questioning his salary as being too high. Concerns emerged that his compensation exceeded the legal cap for the Flood Authority police chief. Scrutiny developed over his dual role as a chief compliance officer, and they were saying that that title was made up to get around the barriers to paying him what they were paying him. And criticism intensified over an employment contract that board leadership acknowledged Rondino largely drafted himself. The words largely drafted are the key words there. The original contract reportedly included a severance package potentially approaching $910,000, guaranteed annual raises, and termination protections not afforded to other employees.
Wait a minute. Wait. Back that thing up. Hold on. Did you say a severance package worth?
A severance package approaching $910,000.
Who gave him that package?
Largely in a contract he drafted himself.
I need Rondino to put my contract together.
Yeah, my contract said my office could use an overhaul too. After pressure from lawmakers, the severance language was removed, and his salary was reduced just below the superintendent of the Louisiana State Police salary threshold. And the legislature passed a bill prohibiting the Flood Authority police chief from simultaneously holding another agency role. There was also additional controversy involving former board member Deborah Satoon, who alleged Rondino used a misdemeanor battery charge to pressure her resignation from the board. Rondino later dropped the charge after her resignation. So supporters of Rondino are arguing that he professionalized the levee police force, he improved security around critical flood infrastructure, and identified operational inefficiencies. Critics of Rondino argue the agency became too police-focused, governance controls weakened, compensation arrangements appeared improper, and the Flood Authority drifted away from its core flood protection mission.
He's the chief of police.
Right.
What are you supposed to do?
So that's the issue. That's the issue. And I'm going to say this. He participated in the drafting of his contract, but it had to be approved by the board.
Yeah.
So if they approved it, it's a valid contract. It's a meeting of the minds.
I need that contract. I need another contract, so I need that contract. And I want my severance to be $900,000.
They approved it. So, I mean, they're making it sound like he's unethical because he participated in drafting it. The board had to have approved it.
Well, I don't see folks having a problem out at the lakefront as far as how they police out there. I mean, every time I hear something about the levee board police, it's making sure that they're sitting out doing almost like a detail in front of some of the businesses on the weekend, keeping people in line over there, making sure they ain't doing drag racing, making sure that at several different times of the year, they're making sure that there's no mess out there at the lakefront. Some people call it, well, why they doing it on the black side, but they're not doing it on the white side? I've heard that. I done heard a lot of stuff, but you don't hear no mess out there.
And let's be clear, Rondino is black. Let's put that out there, okay?
Yep.
And here's another black law enforcement agent who is being told you make too much money, and we don't like it that you make that much money. But Public employment contracts generally must be approved in accordance with Louisiana open meeting laws and the agency's bylaws and enabling statutes. Clearly, this contract was approved by the levy board. But lawmakers over in Baton Rouge, poking their nose everywhere in Orleans Parish,
They ain't supposed to be making that much money.
have a problem with him negotiating the contract that he negotiated in good faith with the board.
I'm getting so sick of this. Because it sounds like every time that somebody is making some money.
No,
that look-
somebody
that-
black
that look
is
like me
making
and
some
you,
money. Right.
There's a problem. And they find little stickly pieces of a contract to criticize you from getting a good deal. Can you imagine if we went through every contract that was in the city for somebody that is being hired, from the police chief to somebody else that's in a public office? You'd be like, wow, how they making this much money? But not trying to find a way to get you fired? Because it looks like to me that because of this contract, they wanted to find Mr. Rondino and get him out of there.
Well, I just find it interesting that they're poking the nose on black law enforcement officials. And they're looking at those salaries and saying they're too high. Well, I have it on good information that the executive director of the Housing Authority of New Orleans makes more than any other executive director in the country. She makes more than the executive director of the Chicago Housing Authority. She makes more than the executive director of the New York Housing Authority. And these are much bigger housing authorities, but
These
nobody's
are
poking
huge
into that.
And huge cities.
Right. So I would like to know why we are investigating under a microscope all the black elected officials and all the black, law enforcement agents who make over, let's say, $100,000 and saying they're making too much, but we're not looking at anybody who is not black and seeing if they're getting paid fairly.
Same thing we looked at with some of the police officers that they're saying now are violating the standards of the NOPD because they're cooking the books with the clocks. But yet you're not looking at some of the other folks that are NOPD officers that are making even more.
And you're criminalizing the black officers who you think are making too much, but you are giving promotions to white officers into those roles and not questioning them. You're making it sound like the black officers had to have been committing some kind of payroll fraud for them to make over $200,000 a year, but you're not criticizing white officers who are making over $200,000 a year. Make it make sense other than that it's a racial issue.
Yep. Tell you what we'll do. Let's take a break here. We'll come back. Joining us today to have some conversation about this controversial issue of what's going on with the judges. You might want to call somebody and let them know because she's coming on next. Joining us in just a minute, Judge Simone Levine.
And then we need to talk about what was happening over there, I guess at Nord.
Yep.
And whether it was really happening or whether this is a smear campaign on
Larry
another,
Barabino.
another black man in this city.
Yeah. More coming up, y'all. Everybody hold tight.
This is Monica Pierre along with Sally Ann Roberts Daybone, co-host of Your Power is On.
Tune in Sunday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. for music that feeds the spirit. Get your Sunday on.
Right here on WBOK 1230 AM and WBOK1230.com, the station you listen to
All day long.
This is Andronica Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
Well, Saints of God, this is Pastor David Impartan Sr. coming to you over the airways of WBOK, your favorite host of Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. I want to invite you to our show every Saturday from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. That's Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. I want you to invite your family and friends to a broadcast that's designed to change your life, the way you think, the way you act, and what you eat. We want you to tune in every Saturday at 1 o'clock, WBOK, 12:30 a.m. See you on Saturday.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Today is Thursday. This is WBOK 1230 AM. The number here is 504-582-9422. We're going to be speaking with Judge Simone Levine in a minute. She is one of the 3 judges that have been targeted by the latest legislation to downsize the criminal district court bench. There's a lot of controversy over who is on the chopping block and how they got there. It's my understanding that when the legislation was first proposed, that it was supposed to be the last to come would be the first to go. And now it's my understanding that some horse trading occurred in Baton Rouge involving Gary Carter, and somehow there was a move to not have his cousin, Leon Roche, Judge Leon Roche, who was one of the last judges to come, to be one of the first judges to go. And somehow Judge Rhonda Good Douglas's name ended up on the chopping block when she was not supposed to be one of the ones who's supposed to go. Although Governor Landry has stated that Rhonda Good Douglas is one of the best judges on the criminal court bench, in his opinion, it appears that he is not going to block the legislation by vetoing it. He's going to allow it to be enacted. And he is throwing Gary Carter under the bus, saying, blame your own Black Legislative Caucus, because they're the ones who decided who was going to go in Orleans Parish. In just a few moments, we're going to hear from one of the judges that has been slated to be eliminated, and that is Judge Simone Levine. Judge Simone Levine is a very involved jurist. She is involved in many community activities. I see her all the time coming out to the community and truly serving. And that's before she became a judge and after she became a judge. She didn't just start doing it when she was trying to be elected. Unfortunately, she is one of the judges that will be leaving the bench if the governor does not veto this law and it actually goes into effect. So she is now saying that she is going to run in November. And this is what we were just starting to talk about the other day. Now, these people are being pit against one another. So now she's going to have to run against one of the other judges who will be up for election in November in order to be a judge again. So we're going to hear from her in a few moments and get her take on what has happened and what her future plans are.
In the meantime, before she can get there, let's make sure that we have that conversation about what's going on with these 3. And give me some airtime on the video, bro. You don't want me to be on video? He done came in on you. It's a pretty picture. It's a pretty picture.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm like, dang, bro. What I gotta do? You can get me on? You appreciate you.
I just think it's unfortunate that voters elected these outstanding judges. Mm-hmm. We clearly thought that they were the best and the brightest to represent us here in Orleans Parish. They haven't done anything wrong. They haven't been chastised or reprimanded by the Louisiana Judicial Ethics Committee for doing anything wrong. There's not a no vote of confidence on these people. I mean, they're just being removed due to political jockeying in Baton Rouge.
Well, I think there's a bigger picture.
What do you think it is?
I can't put my finger on it right now, but something's telling me that we're using these issues, what's happening to us, and we're using these issues for a bigger issue that's going to get here just like we saw happening in East Baton Rouge. They wanted to take a piece of East Baton Rouge and say, let's make it as clear as we possibly can. Let's take some of this public money and make it a private institution for our kids. And let's make sure that they know that there's a gate around it. And if you are not of the same hue, you can't live around us. It's almost like they put it in a gated community, and you can't get in there because it's for specifically us, but we want to use public money. And when I say specifically for us, I ain't talking about us. I'm talking about them.
There is an agenda right now to remove Black excellence from view, to get rid of Black political leaders, because they're hoping if they remove our leaders, then we will just flounder as a people without leadership. There is, I think, an effort around the country to reduce the Black elite and the Black middle class. You can see that in corporate America, where hundreds of thousands of Black people have been removed from corporations. You can see it in universities where they're getting rid of anyone who teaches Black history type subjects or social work type subjects that, talk about race and economics. There is a move afoot to erase our books, erase our history, I guess, and to try to erase Black excellence and silence it. And also if people are in fear of being on the chopping block and losing their jobs, they're certainly not going to be involved in political activism.
So do you think that, you said something that was crucial in this, and that is, do you think that the judges are going to be pitted against one another?
Definitely. I think now you're going to have, there's going to be less positions, right, available at criminal district court and juvenile court and municipal court. So that means that with fewer divisions of court, as these judges come up for re-election, they're going to have people running against them that aspire to be judges. I think that they're going to be looking to see who they think is the most vulnerable on the bench, and then going after those particular seats. So if Leon Roche survives this round, my prediction is people are running against Leon Roche,
right,
because then they're going to be able to say he's only there because of horse trading with Gary Carter. Okay, that's what I think is about to happen next. I think the move to save him is going to be what ends up in him losing his next election.
Yeah.
Okay? The move to save him is what's going to get rid of him. I think Gary Carter is going to have a serious problem if this proves to be true.
Well, you got
that
the
he
governor,
horse traded.
Right.
Yeah, he's throwing Gary under the bus.
He's throwing him under the bus.
That he horse traded Roche
I'm throwing all of them under the bus.
Good.
I'm throwing all of them under the bus for inviting those people that's trying to kill your existence. And you're basically saying, come party with us.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a problematic topic too that we discussed yesterday.
Yeah.
But I just think it's kind of convenient that all of these judges are being pitted against each other just in this one parish.
Yep.
And I think it's a shame. They raise a ton of money to run for office. They spend a ton of time and resources trying to get elected. They get elected and they do exactly what they're supposed to do. They do their jobs. And then due to no fault of their own, they are being unfairly removed from office and pitted against each other to run for office now.
Joining us now by phone, she is with us. Let's say hello to Judge Simone Levine, who's on the phone with us. Hey, Judge.
How you, Gerod?
How you doing?
Could be better.
Yeah, I
could be better.
We're
certainly in a difficult predicament, but looking straight ahead, understand very clearly what is happening, and we are ready to roll for November.
Yeah, let's talk about this for a minute, because I want everybody to get the gist of what you're going through and when you found out about it, because from my knowledge, you weren't even in the quotes here or even in the story, and then all of a sudden you got in the story. How did this happen?
That's right. So, I mean, certainly there can be a whole bunch of theories as to how it happened, but that is true. Originally, well, first of all, these bills have been pending now for years and years and years, right? And why they're being picked up now is a big question. And then initially, I was not in the bill. So initially, it was Kimya Holmes who was her section, and it was the position that John Fuller has now, and then Leon Roche. That was the original bill that I had seen as far as Senate Bill 217. And then afterwards, I got put in the bill, and then there's been a couple of versions since then. I've been in, I think, two of the versions now, maybe three.
But how fair, has anybody talked about how fair this is to your section of court, or has anybody had any conversation on how this could affect you, the people that you have working for you? And then, of course, will it slow down people's dockets?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a direct hit on a community-centered court. We have a trauma-informed court in Section A of Criminal District Court. Section A of Criminal District Court I've been sitting at for the last 2 years, and we have one of the first trauma-informed courts in my section. And what that means is that we put people first. We give people voice in my section. We believe that people need to be treated with dignity and fairness in my section, and we have a very different section. We have a section where we have very few mental health incidents. Because of this trauma-informed approach, we have one of the first rooms specifically just for crime victims, where crime victims can come in and they can have a minute. They don't have to be around the person that's allegedly hurt them. They can testify by Zoom if the defense attorney allows it. And it's a very different court. This is a reform court. This is a court that is based on best practices. I have raised my voice twice since I have been on the bench in the over 2 years that I've been there. It's a community-centered court. And because it is a community-centered court, I do believe that is the reason why it was targeted. And that is the reason why I believe I was targeted specifically.
What kind of support you getting?
So the community's been fantastic. I mean, what we have been saying from the very beginning is that we are prepared. We are ready to go to November. You know, we have been canvassing. We have been campaigning since September, really. And I've never really stopped being in the community. I've never stopped going to community events. For me, that's what it's all about. So you cannot have a judge that is apart from the community. You need to hear the community. You need to see the community. You need to make sure you hear suggestions on how you can do better. And you need to invite the community into your court. We invite people into my court section all of the time. We're one of the few courts that has Zoom, so that if you have a crime that occurs in your neighborhood or you have a loved one that is accused, you can come in by Zoom and you can hear the proceedings. And, you know, for me, what it really is about is making sure that I am in the community. And that is the level of support that I have. I have a huge amount of community support. And people are angry, and people have to understand that this is part of a larger process. The courts are the last check on democracy. When we have a strong executive, when you have a governor the way that we have our governor right now, and we are the last check on democracy. We are the ones that say, no, the government cannot do this. No, you cannot dismantle our courts. And so when the government goes after the courts, you know it's a problem.
So how many judges or judgeships are up for re-election in November?
Well, that is the golden question. If we can manage to stop the bill, if we can stop the law from happening, then it will be all the sections that we had previously. But now, if the bill is passed, if the bill is not vetoed, if we are not successful with litigation, then we're looking at 9 sections. And so my section, specifically Section A of Criminal District Court, I will not be able, it will just not exist. So when I go to write in, which to be able to swear as to which court section I would like to run for, my section will not be present.
Right.
It
So
will
right
not
now,
exist according to the bill.
So to educate the listeners, currently Orleans Criminal District Court has 12 section judges plus the magistrate. And right now, the judges include Your Honor Simone Levine, Tracy Flemings Davalier, Benedict Willard, Kimya Holmes, Rhonda Good Douglas, whose position is also up for elimination, Robin Pittman, Nandy Campbell, Camille Burris, Leon Roche, John Fuller, whose seat is also up for eradication, Marcus DeLarge, and Angel Harris. So if everybody's seat is still safe and the bill does not become law, there'll be 12 seats for re-election, including yours, and voters could re-elect you to your seat. But if the bill becomes law, there will only be 9 seats, and the 3 of you who have been, in my opinion, wrongfully removed from office would have to run against one of your colleagues for their seat, correct?
That's right. And I heard what you said before, and I think it is spot on. I do think that the larger agenda is to make sure that our courts are fighting each other, that we are in chaos, and that, that is what the larger agenda really is.
It really is.
And when we think about what it looks like, a lot of people talk about what's happening on the national level. The same thing is happening on the local level. What's happening on the local level is that when you remove your judges, when you have a governor who removes your judges, it is the dismantling of democracy. And when you have a governor that removes a community-centered judge, a judge that has new models, has new reform, that makes sure that it listens to the people, that makes sure that we're doing what is right to keep people safe, and also what we're doing right to make sure that we give people second chances to get out of the system, then what you have is a dismantling of democracy, and it is an unfair targeting. And it is very rare that I ever say that something is unfair toward me specifically or my courtroom, but it was certainly a target. We were a target because we are a community-centered court. There is no doubt about that.
I mean, in my opinion, there may be a class action to be had by the citizens of New Orleans who duly elected judges to these positions under the Equal Protection Clause, due process claims, Voting Rights Act claims, state constitutional claims, impairment of electoral franchise. I mean, they voted for these judges to be there, and to have the seats just taken away seems to be a violation of equal protection, given that it's just Orleans Parish being targeted.
So I am not allowed as a sitting court judge to talk about any pending litigation or potential litigation, so I cannot refer to that. Right. But I can tell you that the dismantling of our criminal court, and we are the only courtroom, we are the only courthouse in New Orleans where judges who are not due to retire are being actively removed.
And can you tell me what the average docket size is over there at Criminal District Court?
Oh, we are busy. We are so busy. And when you remove us, those dockets are they're going to double and they're going to triple in size. And so you are going to look at longer wait times. You're talking about people that remain in jail for a longer period of time before they see a judge, before a decision can be made. Our docket size, I mean, it varies per judge, but, the average can be, it's in the hundreds and it can go up to 200.
And fewer judges, fewer judges is going to mean fewer trial dates, fewer available courtrooms, slower motion hearings, increased pretrial detention. It's really going to create a backlog, and people's Sixth Amendment right to a speedy trial is going to be adversely impacted.
Judge, let me ask you.
Yeah, we are very concerned about that.
Yeah, let me add to that with the right to a speedy trial. Because if somebody says, hey, I want a speedy trial, and you all grant that, and they cannot make, as a prosecutor, that time frame, isn't there a rule that says you got to let them go? What is that, 701s or 702s?
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's the
even if they're
rule.
guilty, you have to let them go because that's a technicality, correct?
And if it lasts long enough, if the proceeding lasts long enough, yes. And so we are definitely worried about 701. We're worried about speedy trial time in general. You know, the DA's office has less money now. That's going to be a problem as well. I do think that the larger agenda is to make sure that we do not operate with the level of rights that we have. I am running in November. I'm running for reelection no matter what. I am going to be running, and if I have to run against another judge, I will have to run against another judge because we need community-centered courts. And we cannot afford to have a community-centered judge go by the wayside. You know, not when we are making so much progress, not when things were really starting to change.
What about these dates that folks are saying, hey, I have the right to a speedy trial, but yet I'm also hearing that's being brought up as a bill in the courts that the district attorney's money is getting ready to go away too. They're getting ready to take some of
They're cutting his
Jason's
budget.
budget so that they can give that money to other parishes.
Yeah, they passed that bill as well. And I can talk about my bill because it affects me directly. I will not talk about the bill that affects the district attorney's office. But what I will tell you is, if people think that this is coincidental, they are deadly wrong. It is absolutely intentional. They're absolutely targeting community-centered courts, community-centered judges. They're absolutely targeting New Orleans. And, you know, we have to act with our feet. We have to go and vote. We have to, I mean, we made the mistake in the first place. We need to make sure that we have the right representatives there. And, you know, we need to make sure that we preserve our courts.
So, Judge Levine, assuming this fight continues through the fall, what do you do between now and November?
So I have been actively campaigning. So I have been at many different community events. I've been raising money, and I have made sure that community understands from the very beginning that I'm running for re-election in November. If I do not have a section, I will have to unfortunately run against a colleague. That is just the reality. And I don't do it with any desirability. It is not something that I want to do, but I do think that at the end of the day, we need courts that are reform courts, where judges are not screaming and yelling, reform courts that hear people, that give people a voice, that make sure that people have second chances, and then the resources to succeed. You cannot just allow for somebody to be released on the street and give them no resources and expect that anything is going to change. You need courts where victims are heard. You need courts where people are heard. In our court section, what we do is, after the judge talks to the lawyers, because if you've ever been in criminal court, the one thing that across the board everybody says, or in court in general, is that it's confusing. If you're not a lawyer, if you do not work there, it is confusing. You don't understand what is happening. And in my court, after we're done with all of the legalese and the legal conversation, which is always on the record, is never in the back room, I explain what's going on. Because at the end of the day, the person who's accused of that crime, the victim who has been victimized by that crime, the family members that are there in the court, they are the ones that have the interests in mind. And if they don't understand what's happening in court, they do not have a voice. Yeah. The trauma-informed court model, which we have in my court section, is all about making sure that people have voice. Because if people feel that they have a say in what happens in court, in criminal court, then afterwards, when they are released, they will feel that they can respect the rule of law, and they should respect the rule of law because they've actually been respected by the court. And that's exactly what the trauma-informed model is. That's what we've been pushing. So I've been giving, I just spoke at a conference, and we had 150 judges in the conference that listened to the panel that I was on with one other judge about what trauma-informed courts are. And now in Louisiana, we have a requirement that judges take one trauma-informed court seminar once every 2 years. This is essential stuff. If we do not learn new models, we are going to keep doing the same thing, and we are going to have communities that are not safe, and we are going to have people that are disenfranchised, that are going to feel that they have no hope, and that they cannot do anything with their lives. We need to do things different. We need reform courts. We need courts that are by best practices. We need to give people second chances. We need to hear victims.
Okay.
And so that's the reason why I'm running for re-election in November, no matter what. Because at the end of the day, that's the community. The community needs a voice. They need a judge that is hearing them, is seeing them, is taking their suggestions in order to make a better and a stronger court.
If this legislation ultimately becomes law, what would be your last official day on the bench?
December 31st.
Yeah.
If
end of the year.
I do not run for if I'm not successful in my reelection, but I'm confident that I will be successful in my reelection.
All right.
So I am confident that because I said no matter what, I'm running in November. So I do believe that next year you will see me on the bench, but only by the grace of God and the grace of the community.
Well, look, we're not finished talking with you, so come back and see us again. We want to keep this conversation going because people need to be informed. So we'll reach back out again and see can you come back and share with us again, okay?
Always happy to. Yeah,
right.
Always love to be a guest on WBOK. That is for sure. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for educating the public. It is so essential.
All right, Judge.
We as community appreciate you. Okay, bye now.
Thank you much. All righty, bye-bye. That's Judge Simone Levine with us for the past 25 minutes. Take your telephone calls because we got more judges coming up in the next hour. We'll tell you about that in just a few minutes. More coming up next right here on WBOK.
I'm Leo Jackson, host of Sunday Gospel here every Sunday morning, 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. and 12 o'clock till 2 p.m. You don't want to miss this move of God. It happens only on WBOK. You listen to all day long.
Life has a way of shifting priorities, changing needs, and pivoting plans. Home Bank is there for all of them. Their bankers partner with you for every step along the way, from understanding your needs to celebrating your success. Home Bank is invested in the vibrant spirit of our community and in you. So partner with them. Stop on by any banking center in the greater New Orleans area or visit home24bank.com to get started today. Good for business, good for life. Home Bank, a member of the FDIC.
Step back in time and experience the moments that shaped our world at the National World War II Museum, located in the heart of the Warehouse District in New Orleans. This world-renowned museum brings history to life, telling America's story in the war that changed everything, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. From immersive exhibits to powerful personal stories, this is more than a museum. It's an experience. Plan your visit today at nationalww2museum.org. World War II Museum, where history lives.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana companies through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about what the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation does, please visit www.jazzandheritage.org.
From Gentilly to New Orleans East, WBOK is what New Orleans is talking about. WBOK.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. A few minutes here before 5 o'clock. Join us now, Mr. Elmo.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good. What you say?
How you doing, Miss Bagnash?
I am doing well. How are you?
Well, it's a pleasure to hear from you.
You know, this is just a sad day that we're having to talk to these judges about what's happening down here. And one of the things I just want to point out, and I'd like to get your take on it, Mr. Elmo, is there is no doubt that there is big money in incarcerating people here in Louisiana, and they have just put more money into prisons in Louisiana. I don't think it's coincidental that they're about to slow down the train to get justice here in Orleans Parish while increasing the budget to keep people imprisoned. That might be a motivation. Keep them in jail longer because we're making more money off of them while they're incarcerated waiting to get to trial.
And I sort of agree with you that, when you look at our democracy and just look how white folks are starting, please forgive me, to wake up, ding dong. They're starting to wake up how their democracy is being threatened. They're just starting to understand it. They thought everything about Trump was cute. They were scared to say anything. And now they realize that you look at a locomotive train that's out of control, and they're trying to figure out how to stop it. Well, you created that problem, white folks. Kamala Harris, very dignified, tried to tell folks that wanted to listen, you put that man in there, we're going backwards, we're not going forward. And everybody thought it was a joke. See, there's a saying, I don't know what leader said that, I don't know if it's Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, one of them, but one of them said our democracy is good as we can keep it. And a lot of people just thought that was just talk. I'm a Vietnam vet. I didn't go to Vietnam just to right now see my ancestors, the way they fought and died. I'm 75 years old. So I understood where I came from. I understood where I'm at today, and I'm hoping and praying the younger people will stand, because the generation that I know of that really fought for us, they dead and gone. So I just hoping and praying, man, that some kind of way we have a wake-up call, Ms. Becknaris. Not only younger generation will wake up, but white folks will be more of our allies when they realize they're starting to get screwed. It's amazing about politics. You'll laugh, Ms. Becknaris, I'll say this. I look at this nutcase we had as senator, please forgive me, and when he should have stood up like a man, he never stood up like a man. Now, all of a sudden, he's standing up and saying certain things that he should have said in the beginning. I mean, it's amazing how politics make strange bedfellows maybe in a way. They want you to be the ally when they got their you and what kicked. When we keep on asking, speak up like a man, man. This is democracy. Look, man, listen. I'm not against Republicans. I'm not against conservatives. I'm against people that not doing the same the right thing. And right now we have a form of government. Trump is not a conservative. Come on, don't fool yourself. It's not even a Republican. But the fact of the matter is, if you understand the government, I'm sure you do, being a lawyer, lawyers understand our government, how it was founded. That's why white folks broke away from England. They didn't want a king. They wanted a president. And that's why you have him after 8 years. There's a reason for that. So, I mean, I know we kind of took it for granted, but again, I mean, right now we can't take it for granted because don't have reality is right in front of my face, Ms. Becknaris. This is not nice.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kamala Harris's campaign slogan was "We are not going back." And I think people took that slogan for granted because we are truly turning back the hands of time right now under this Trump administration and under this Landry administration. She spoke to a nation wrestling with fear, division, and uncertainty and told them that their vote was really going to matter because if they did not vote for her in the last election, there would be serious consequences felt by everyone. And now, people around the country are looking around and realizing that we are going back to a time when the will of the voters was not respected, back to where weakening black political representation, back to overload of our courts and justice being delayed and denied, and back to government systems where accountability depends upon the color of your skin. we're back to dismantling institutions after people have already voted, judgeships after people have already voted for them. So, and I think you're right that people are starting to realize whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, black, white, rich, poor, uptown, downtown, East Bank, or West Bank, your rights are being stripped away right in front of your face.
They're playing in your face.
They're playing in your face. I mean, it's very serious. I wish people had taken her seriously when she said, "Vote for me, or we're going back," because we are seriously going back.
Hey, Gerod, I want to tell you one thing. I'm in the process of taking my test for my hams license.
You're in the process of what?
I'm in the process of getting ready to take the test for my hams license with FCC.
What's your hands license?
To be a ham operator.
Oh, you talking about you talking about a
ham operator? Yes, sir.
A radio hand operator.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. There you go. I didn't know what your license was operating your hands. I thought you was playing with something. I was ready to say, wait a minute, bro. You can't say that on the radio. You can't be saying that on the radio that you're playing with your hands.
Wait. That's not wait, Gerard. I told you long enough. Look. I'm a gentleman when it comes down to FCC. I know what to say now. I can be saying this here cock now.
I'm just saying. Uh-huh. All right, Mr. Elmore. Good to hear from you, my friend.
Hey, brother. Bye.
Bye.
Now while we're talking about a reduction in the criminal court bench, we are also witnessing Governor Jeff Landry and his cronies in Baton Rouge supporting and signing bills that increased funding to Louisiana's correctional facilities. They are arguing that Louisiana needs more incarceration, more detention infrastructure, more policing, and more punitive systems, while they're underinvesting in education, mental health, youth development, public defense, workforce development, and reentry services. So it appears that they have a plan to imprison more people and to make it harder for them to get justice through the judicial system, particularly in this majority black city.
Mm-hmm. But that's been something we've been talking about, that states are making deals with these private jails. And the deal is with these private jails that you have to have it at least 80% full at all times. And if the state does not, then we have to pay the jail operator money.
Yeah, and I mean, what we need to see through here is that you cannot claim to value liberty and constitutional rights, as MAGA does, while building systems that make incarceration easier and timely justice harder. Mm-hmm. They claim to be all about the Constitution and the Constitution's rights that it gives us, and liberty and justice and all that kind of stuff. But you're making it harder for people to get liberty and to exercise their constitutional rights by delaying the very courts of law that they need in order to get justice.
All right, let me let everybody know, because I had told them before that we had another judge getting ready to come on with us. That is going to be Orleans Parish Judge Rhonda Good Douglas, who is slated to be one of those that's going to be removed, even though that she has tenure.
Right.
So that in itself makes me go, what really happened?
Well, she said in the paper, when she finally gave a statement about this, that she felt blindsided by this. Right. That she did not realize that she was on the chopping block until she received a call telling her that she was on the chopping block.
So we're going to let her tell it.
Right.
We're going to let her tell it. She's going to join us in just a few minutes. We got to do our newscast, and we're going to come back, and hopefully we'll be talking with Judge
Rhonda Good
Douglas in just a few minutes, y'all. All right, everybody hold tight. Call somebody, let them know. And we'll apologize to all those that like to listen to us on the FM. If we're not on the FM, it's just because they're doing some maintenance work and also moving the tower. Am I right in saying that? Okay, good enough. All right, more coming up, y'all. The news is next.
campus of Xavier University. WBOK Go, an equity media station.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Former Congresswoman Katie Porter has conceded California's governor's race.
And it may take a few days here in California to have final numbers, but we know tonight that we will not advance to the general election in November.
Early results show Democrat Xavier Becerra and Republican Steve Hilton in a tight race for first, with Democrat Tom Steyer trailing. Jury selection is underway in a closely watched Texas murder trial. Black 19-year-old Carmelo Anthony is accused of fatally stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a Frisco track meet last year during an argument over seating in the stands. The defense is expected to argue self-defense. And the U.S. Supreme Court has approved a Republican-drawn congressional map in Alabama. The ruling overturns a lower court decision and allows the map to be used in the midterms, even as critics argue it weakens black voting power. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
Welcome back. This is WBOK 1230 AM. On the talk line, the number is 504-582-9422. Judge Rhonda Good Douglas made several striking comments after learning that lawmakers had unexpectedly targeted her judgeship for elimination under Senate Bill 217. Her response was emotional, forceful, and centered on voter legitimacy and judicial independence. And we are joined by Judge Good Douglas this afternoon. Good afternoon, Judge. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. How are you guys doing?
We are doing well, and we're very pleased to hear from you. It is our understanding, based upon the statement that you did release, that you were deeply blindsided by the decision to remove your seat under Senate Bill 217. Could you tell us how you came to know that your seat was up for elimination and why that was so shocking to you?
And Judge, you do have tenure, correct?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I'm sorry, I was saying you do have tenure, correct? Am I wrong in saying that?
Oh, absolutely. I was elected in 2020. I took the bench I was elected on November 3rd, 2020. Took the bench on December 1st of 2020. And I'm actually next up to be deputy chief. So I would be serving, if God say the same, as deputy chief in 2028 when Judge Kimya Holmes will become the chief.
Right. So under a last elected first to go scheme, which is what was supposed to be proposed under Senate Bill 217, your seat would never have been up for elimination, correct?
Absolutely. There are at least 4 other judges that would be quote unquote junior to me.
And you learned about this switch Sunday night through a text message, is my understanding. Is that correct?
Correct. A text message from a defense attorney who just so happened to be following what was going on. He sent me a message at about 7 p.m. and asked me if I had seen the amendment. And, it was 7 p.m. on a Sunday. I had, hadn't. And again, I was under the impression that it was last in, first out. So I wasn't close to even, my section wasn't even close to being considered at that point in time. And so, no, I hadn't seen the amendment. So, instantly I went and looked it up and saw that Section E was there. So that's how I found out. I didn't, didn't have a clue about what
Judge
was
Douglas,
going on.
I got, and this might sound a little bit combative, and I understand you operate by the canons as well, but where did this come from? From your understanding, where did this come from?
So when I tell you, I have called pretty much anybody and everybody that I can call in Baton Rouge, people that I know, people that I didn't know, because that's the explanation that I'm trying to get to the bottom of. When I tell you that, I am a judge that I take the bench every single day. I try cases. I do motion hearings. I have 2 specialty courts. So I am busy and I am working. I have never had any judicial complaints.
Right.
I have never had, I'm barely in the newspaper. I try to go to work, do my job, and serve the citizens of this parish to the best of my ability. And I have spoken to many members of the Orleans delegation, and no one has been able to give me a clear explanation. Now, what I will tell you is that,
Judge, I got to tell you, not to cut you off, but I got to cut you off because I'm hearing that this came from the delegation that's supposed to be championing you to be on the bench, and yet I'm hearing that this amendment to this bill actually came from the delegation.
well, it did. I mean, I have it on good authority that, the senator that has written the bill pretty much left it up to the members of the committee to
Right.
sort of give him the sections. I mean, he doesn't know me, so, and I don't think he knows many of the judges in criminal district court. So it was definitely left up to those that were in the negotiating room, if you will, to give up the seat.
So, Judge Douglas, you typically keep your head down. You get a lot of work done, and you're also very involved as a community servant. You had no plans of retiring. You continue to work. You continue to want to work to serve the people of Orleans Parish. You stated that you believe this legislation overrides the express will of the voters who entrusted you with the responsibility of serving the community. Could you please elaborate on that and explain to us why you think this legislation is overriding the will of the public and also injurious to democracy?
So, as we all are aware, generally, judges, if you do a good job and, your term is ended, for the most part, you are reelected without opposition.
Correct.
And so all of us were, up for reelection at the end of our term. Of course, anyone could have decided to get in our races, and that could still happen. However, for my seat to be, number one, for my seat to be removed, that means now I have to look to run against one of my colleagues. I also think that, the public doesn't necessarily follow what's really going on in terms of, how efficiency with judges and all those things. And so for me, I find it problematic because I think that, people are going to automatically just assume that I did something wrong, and that's why my seat was cut. I wasn't, the last in, first out. That makes sense. But for you to say, for me to have to explain to people now, oh, well, I don't know why I was picked, people are going to have a problem with that. And I think that it definitely has done a disservice to me as well as, really ruin my reputation, in the community.
Well, Judge,
because I can't explain it.
Right. And it doesn't make sense, Judge. And I know because I follow you closely that you're very involved in things in the community with respect to scholarship, mentoring, tutoring, literacy programs, HBCU support, leadership development. You do programs all the time for financial literacy and entrepreneurship. You do health fairs. You do mental health awareness programs. You do voter registration. She does all these things.
But this does make sense. This is not her fault.
No, but I want them to understand this is also a very community-minded, community service-focused judge. And I want it to be very clear that she has done nothing wrong here and that this is an injustice to cut her seat like this.
But I feel like, and I think that this is the part that's missing in this whole conversation. And Judge, I don't know how much you can go into this, but I'm feeling like you're being cut by your own people. Am I wrong in saying that?
She's being cut by a legislator who horse traded her seat.
Her own people. This is supposed to be her delegation as well as mine and yours.
Right.
These are your own people. And they're basically saying, oh, I'm going to put somebody else in there, and we don't care that we're not following the rules. As a matter of fact, we're going to amend the rules that we put forward.
Yeah, Absolutely.
Okay.
And the expectation, and look, I'm not going to say all of the members of the Orleans delegation, because of course all of them were not involved in the actual day-to-day
Okay, send it to
committee
Gary
meetings.
Carter then. How about that one?
Geez, I'm not going to put the judge in a position to call out a legislator. I don't think that's fair. But I do want her to be very clear, and I want to be very clear about the fact that, this is a judge who deserved to be on the bench, who didn't do anything wrong, who had no ethics violations her entire career, had no ethics violations as an attorney before she even took the bench. And now she finds herself potentially, if this bill becomes law, having to seek re-election against one of your colleagues on the bench. Is that correct?
Correct. That is absolutely correct.
Which
yes.
means you would have to develop a war chest that for next election you did not anticipate having to run, and you would have to put in the time and the resources to create the groundswell to get you elected to a seat you already had and already deserved.
So
is that correct?
Two times
That
the
is
money.
correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
yes,
you
you're
don't
right.
get to
Absolutely.
claim that and say I need a refund for the time that I did not run.
Right. Well, I mean,
I'm sorry, for the time that I ran and I spent my own money.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I invested a lot of money, into the first time that I ran. I mean, I was running opposed. I didn't run against an incumbent. It was an open seat. But, I mean, it was a financial investment to have to do so.
And you didn't
And, I mean,
anticipate this, so you weren't planning for it.
Right. Especially to have to, run on a full, campaign against a colleague of mine, somebody that, I work with on a daily basis.
Right.
That just really is, that's a lot. It's a lot.
So something else too that was said in this whole conversation that's disturbing to me, that you found out about this through a text message or another conversation. No one did the message here and say, hey, let me call the judge and let her know that this is happening. No one.
So I got a phone call from Senator Duplessis, who, basically said, I'm not on the committee, Judge. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to look into it for you. So that is the only person that he reached out to me initially. And then I started making phone calls from there. And then, I started reaching out because I was looking for explanation as to what took place.
Mm-hmm.
Senator Duplessis did reach out to me, shortly after I received the text message. He called me directly and said, Judge, look, I'm not on the committee. I wasn't in the meetings, but I'm going to find out, that's not his committee. But I'm going to find out what happened. Obviously, the people from the House were blindsided because it came from the committee meeting from the Senate. So if you had an opportunity to view any of the hearings, the House members like Mandy Landry and Candace Newell, they all got up and said, we were, blindsided by this as well because y'all changed this in the committee meeting and didn't even tell us that this is what was going on. So the House side, they would
do though
definitely
to your
blindsided.
tenure? Do you have to start all over with anything that maybe we're not talking about?
Well, if she has to run again for election in November, then she will not be the senior most judge to serve in the position that she was going to serve in.
Because this wouldn't be a re-election. This would be an election for a different seat.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow, that's messed up.
Oh, no, there's a lot of ramifications for this. I mean, these are real people with real jobs and real families and real mortgages who are being ousted and blindsided and taken away from their paying jobs and positions to try to figure it out. And typically, and maybe the community doesn't realize this, when somebody decides to run for a judicial office, you don't just wake up one day and decide to do that. That's years of planning and a whole year of fundraising, at least a year of fundraising, to be able to run a citywide race.
Right.
And you haven't been given that.
Expensive.
You haven't been given that. It's June, and you'd have to run in November.
Correct. Yeah.
So, for people who want to support these judges who seem to have wrongfully lost their seats, if the bill is signed into law. You know, we've got to put our money where our mouth is, and we're going to have to help them to develop a war chest to be able to run a successful bid for an election in November. These are close races to watch. You're going to have to do a lot of homework on who is on the bench and who you want to see on the bench in November, since we're going from 12 to 9.
What's
Yep,
next,
correct.
Judge? What is next for you? You're saying that you will run, right?
Yep. So I'm weighing my options right now. I mean, obviously, once the governor, signs the bill, or if, within 10 days, it'll automatically become law if he doesn't sign it. But once it, becomes enacted, I will make an announcement as to what section of court I will be running in.
Well, do us a favor. Make sure you keep us updated so that we can give all the people the information, because this is very strange. It hadn't happened in my lifetime. What about yours?
I've never seen anything like this, and it's just a shame that we're speaking to judges who truly worked hard to get where they are and deserve to be on that bench, and now they're being disenfranchised from that position. I'll keep you in my prayers, Judge Douglas, and I wish you the best in your reelection bid, if it comes to that. If it comes to that.
I thank y'all so much for, paying attention to this and making the community aware, because it is very important. And what I will say is, I mean, it's, criminal district court today, but it could be another, entity that's, run by the state tomorrow. So we all need to be aware of what's really happening to us in our New Orleans community.
I don't think they're finished. I think they're going for other judgeships. They're going to hit civil district court too. They just couldn't do it all this time. They're coming.
Yep, absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
Keep us updated on you so that we'll know which way you went. So we'll keep up.
I definitely will. Thank y'all so
Thank
much.
you so much.
I appreciate
Alrighty.
it.
Bye-bye.
Anytime.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right.
That is,
Bye-bye.
Judge Rhonda Good Douglas, who's been with us for the past, 17 minutes. And good that she's calling in and letting us know. Ronnie, did we lose you? I think we lost him. Pop Jones.
Hey.
There he is. What you say?
How you doing? I thought I could catch the judge, but I caught you and the attorney.
Mm-hmm.
You already know I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I always say 400 years of slavery. But I'm beginning to look at this thing differently. That this seems like it's a new world order. I have a couple of questions I'd like to ask. What is the wrong? Who are they? That's one question.
What do you mean, who are they?
You say they. I always say they. They, okay, who are they pointing at? The black people?
They and
brown
what? And
people?
what situation are you talking
what
about?
What group of people are they after?
Oh, they're talking about
I will tell you who they're after. They're after black political leaders in Orleans Parish. They have come for a majority black political district. This is the only parish that they have come for in the entire state. They're not trying to eliminate judges from any other court system in the entire state. They didn't try to eliminate any clerks from any other city in the entire state. This is definitely about Orleans Parish, and particularly it's about black political leaders in Orleans Parish.
Well, Attorney McNaris, you mean this not going on in other states? This is only Louisiana?
We're speaking about Louisiana, but this is a national problem. We're speaking specifically about Louisiana Senate Bill 27.
It looks like to me they're trying to spread this throughout the country.
Well, they are, but we're specifically today talking about a Louisiana Senate Bill 217, which eliminated judgeships in Orleans Parish. Now, we can talk about it happening on a national level because it is, but today we're specifically talking about Louisiana.
You talk about Governor Landry's doing this?
Yes.
Oh, okay. But this is what is happening in other states too.
This ain't happening nowhere else.
Well, it is. It is. In Tennessee, for example, I'll give you an example since we're going off the reservation and we're going to talk about another topic, I'll talk about this. In Tennessee, all of the Black Caucus members were removed from their committee assignments yesterday by the governor. So it is happening in every state. It's an attack upon Black political leadership in every state. Don't be surprised if by the next legislative session here in Louisiana.
Who is they?
She just told you.
I just told you. I just spent 30 minutes explaining who the they is. It's Governor Landry and the white legislature, majority legislature here in Louisiana. And in other states, it's also Republicans, conservative for the most part, going after Black political leadership without respect to party, by the way, because there are elected members of Congress in Tennessee, of their legislature in Tennessee, both Democrat and Republican, and they all lost their committee assignments yesterday, regardless of their party.
So just what I said, 400 years of slavery.
All right,
trying to bring us back.
We gotta take our break. Oh boy, yes indeed. All right, Pops. Thank you, brother. Good to hear from you. All right, we gotta take a break.
Thank you for taking my call.
All right, yes indeed. We'll take a break and we'll come back. More in just a minute, y'all.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Spelman College president Rosalind Brewer came from the business world. She's held posts in the C-suite at Starbucks and Sam's Club and was CEO at Walgreens, making her one of the most successful Black women on Wall Street. And now she's trying to take some of that experience in business and use it to help Spelman.
One of the things I've committed to this board of trustees at Spelman College is that I will try to bring as much business to this institution as I possibly can. And that would be through a new financial or business model. You know, we live off of very few sources of revenue. But if we looked at our institutions through the lens of what we could monetize, things like our online learning programs, that right now through the number of, high school students that need certifications, could we provide those?
Spelman was recently one of several schools that billionaire Arthur Blank donated to. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Lowe's has the brands pros trust to get the job done. You can now shop new Catalyst fencing solutions and save big when you do. 10% off when you buy in bulk. Plus, save $180 on a DeWalt 12-inch dual bevel sliding compound miter saw. Now just $449. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/6 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
Let's talk about the explosive controversy erupting at CBS News. Specifically, the turmoil erupting at 60 Minutes, considered the golden standard of journalistic integrity. The iconic news magazine has been on the air for 57 years. The trouble started when media mogul David Ellison, an ally of President Donald Trump, gained control of CBS. Ellison brought in Barry Weiss, who has no broadcast news experience, as chief news editor. Weiss immediately troubled the network waters, creating friction among the staff, firing or failing to renew the contracts of several veteran correspondents. Weiss turned the boat completely over when she hired another non-broadcast news person to head the 60 Minutes news magazine. Now, that would be tantamount to putting me, a broadcast journalist with no experience in print, in charge of editorial content at the newspaper. Well, that silly move was the last straw for veteran newsman Scott Pelley. He blasted Weiss, accusing her of trying to kill the program. Pelley was immediately fired for his blunt observation, creating even more tension at the network. And Weiss was already taking heat for allegedly attempting to slant the news to appease the Trump administration. By now, you're probably wondering, why in the hell should this be of interest to you? As I see it, what's occurring at CBS News is a microcosm of what's taking place in media overall. Ask yourself this question: who controls your information? The media has consolidated into only a handful of voracious, profit-driven owners, primarily with a bottom-line interest. This is exactly what legendary CBS News President Fred Friendly warned us about way back in the late 60s. The narrowing of news ownership would potentially lead to corporate news prioritizing profit over public service, dangerously leading to the reduction of independent journalistic voices. So here we are today, where media in the United States are now controlled by just 6 major companies. These conglomerates own information distribution platforms that run the gamut from broadcast, print, to social media networks. Compare that to 1983, where media in the U.S. were controlled by 50 companies. It was Thomas Jefferson who considered a free press to be a vital pillar of democracy. At this point in our history, sadly, it appears that the press and democracy are both in jeopardy. This is Norman Robinson, Off the Top.
Hey, this is Steve Poston. Be sure to listen to WBOK 1230 AM every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and Sunday evening at 5 p.m., bringing you the best Southern Soul barroom music with the Southern Soul Weekend Party Mix, hosted by me, of course. I'll be playing your favorite Southern Soul music by artists from all over the South, right here on WBOK 1230 AM or online at WBOK1230.com. The station you listen to longer. Listen to longer. Listen to longer.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton. Losing a loved one is tough enough. Do you really want your family dealing with court battles and paperwork on top of it?
Whether you choose a will or a trust, think ahead. Take care of your family. Let them focus on healing instead of headaches. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
Greetings and salutations. I am Edward B. Coulon Smith, chairman of the board of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to invite you to tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon on WBOK to listen in on Black to Business and be a part of the movement that's going on. Thank you.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and do not have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you do not pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call. If you've been injured in an auto accident, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
Welcome back. You all right, Sister Soldier? You all right? That was Ro Brown in here messing with Sister Soldier over here. That's what that was. Let me see. Galloway!
What's going on, Brother Gerod?
Oh, man, we in here tripping. What's going on?
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't call it, man. Man, y'all gave old Pop Brown a headache trying to.
He gave me a headache. What you talking about? I'm explaining the whole situation, and he says, "Who is they?" What?
All right,
you know, old school.
It sure ain't me.
Move on. What you got, brother?
Anyway, y'all asking about the agenda. I'm not afraid to tell you the agenda. I said this when I first started calling in because I kind of figured this was going to happen in New Orleans. The agenda of the state legislature, the governor, and your city council and mayor is to make New Orleans as lily white and conservative as can be. You start with the land, then you go to housing, you go to law enforcement, you go to your city council, then you go to your judicial system, and then you use the state law to back all of that up. What that turns into, that means they can do whatever they want to with the average citizen. From eminent domain to taking your house, to building what they want to build, to raise your property taxes, to raise the rent, to raise your mortgage payments, all of that is a plan. And your city council, along with Helena Moreno, has bought into it. They did that so much here in Austin, guess what happened? It backfired. But it took about 4 to 5 years for it to backfire, because you can look right now, Austin, Texas has some of the cheapest rent for a major urban city in the United States because they made everything so expensive and so high that the average white person couldn't afford it. But they got enough black people up out of here to where black people, our power has nothing. So y'all think this is a game? And I still want to know who invited Dixon to that meeting, because all the Democrats I talked to today, none of them know who did it. So I guess he just showed up magically. But folks, y'all better pay attention. And I hope all those judges that y'all interviewing and talking to, if they do lose their spot on the bench, take this all the way to the Supreme Court. Louisiana Supreme Court ain't the end of all. The Fifth Circuit Court ain't the end of all. Make those lawyers and those judges in the Supreme Court tell them I was elected by my citizens, and this this governor don't like me mainly because of I'm black, and they're taking my election victory from me. You gotta keep fighting, keep your head up, because what I'm saying now is folks in New Orleans don't really care. But I have to give folks in New Orleans this though. They are starting to boycott them Asian stores, and I'm happy for it. Y'all stop spending y'all money where people disrespect you and will kill you or kill your children and get off scot-free. Now, Galloway up out of here. I'm going to the hot tub. Y'all have a good day.
All right, Galloway. Take it easy, brother. Hey, Ron.
400 years. Hey, man. Shout out to Pop Jones, man. Pop Jones showed up to me, for my son's funeral. You heard me? Yeah, Pop is old school. You dig? But first off, I love you too, Pop. And Galloway, I'm up here in Frisco, bro. Get my number from Gerod and holler at me. We up here for the case. But anyway, first off, shouts out to the Fall Dollar Round Table as well as the Huey New Country.
We can barely hear you, bro.
Listen, man. Oh, what about now?
There you go.
What's the last thing you heard?
I heard you say you was in something.
Oh, Frisco. I was letting Galloway know to get my number from you, because I can let I'm up. We up here for the trial.
Okay.
But anywho, our community is under attack all over. Now y'all was just talking about the Constitution, heavy on the con part. Y'all was just talking about that, right? The jury, what they picked for this young brother is all white, and everybody on the jury is 175 years old. Now, is it supposed to be a jury of your peers? Carmelo is 18 years old. Just to give you an idea on how they write these so-called laws, and they're not even abiding by their own stuff. Like I said, a jury of his peers will be looking, something similar to him.
Hey, Ron.
But all white?
You make a good point, but I want to tell you something that's so frustrating as a lawyer. I'm trying to pick a jury, and I start off with 100 people in the courtroom. And I may look out and I may see in Orleans Parish that out of that 100 people, 60 of them are black. I'm trying to keep the black people for my client who's black, okay? Because I want him to have a jury of his peers. But when I start asking y'all questions about the case to see who can be fair, why are all the black people raising their hands to tell me they can't be fair? They don't want to be there. They have to go to work. They have to go care for their sick, ailing mother, cousin, brother, sister, neighbor across the street. They're giving the judge every reason why they can't serve. We have got to stop dodging jury duty. We have got to stop trying to make excuses why we cannot serve. I get that serving on a jury is a pain. I get that you're losing money from your job if you work an hourly job. I get that it's an inconvenience. But if we aren't willing to serve as a juror, then we can't expect fairness and justice when we have a case. So I'm not saying that's the situation in the courtroom where you are, but I'm telling you that's a problem that I face as a black lawyer trying to represent a black client and pick a fair jury for them.
Now, you understand, and everything what you just said, my sister, you already know. You is 100% accurate in what you said. But there's also a reason why, some of us, I'm not going to say all of us, but it's the reason why some of us, does that, because we don't have no faith in this system. Like, say, if the system was doing what it was set up to do, it wouldn't be no problem for, certain things to, happen and, things to be made happen and things like that. But the system is not, the energy what we put behind the system as far as, taking and trying to believe in them, we're not receiving that same thing in return. And that's true. That's the system as a whole. You feel me? Whether it be miseducation, misrepresentation, even with some of the leaders that are black, the system. Look, I fought for custody for my son. Right, you would think that by me being, a black man at that time, I had my long locks plus tattoos. Y'all looked at my outside features, but didn't pay attention to this is a black man trying to fight for custody of his son. Y'all made me go through not y'all, but them, the system, made me go through all type of rigmarole when I was right the whole time. So a lot of stuff could have been avoided, but because of the mistrust aspect, Sometimes they make us go, and when I say us, I mean us. They make us go through certain loopholes that some people ain't even got to go through. And it takes a lot. Look, I'm speaking from experience. You dig? It took a lot for me to put my pride to the side and go stand in front. You know what I'm saying? That judge, them white folks putting them in my business. Like, I had to put all that to the side just for me to come and do everything right, and y'all still playing in my face. Like, I could have took the other way, but then the other way, I'd be locked up somewhere. But y'all say y'all system is just and fair, but it's not really no justice. It's just us. And that's what we tired of. Like I always say, it's not that, people is against the vote, but we against making it seem like voting is the only way out. Because if that's the case, like, say, the Constitution, people voted for stuff like that, and this brother got an all-white jury. Now, I understand what you're saying, but that was done specifically, not by accident or mistake or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? People who stay out here, what they say about Collin County, that's the courthouse where it's at. When they talk about Collin County, all they talk about is the oppression that goes on up here, out here.
Well,
like, it's the most scariest place wherever. But the reason for that is because some people not respecting us. You there? Because we're not respecting ourselves to a certain extent. But go ahead, sis.
Well, I just want to make sure people understand how a jury pool is put together. Jury pools in Louisiana and generally across the United States are created by compiling lists of eligible citizens from public records. And what they use are voter registration records, driver's license records, state ID card records, tax rolls, utility records, and some other government databases, right? So if our people are not registered active voters, if they don't hold valid driver's licenses or state ID cards, if they're not paying their taxes to the city, if they don't have utility records, they're not going to be even put on the list to potentially be a juror. So we need to work on making sure that our people who look like us, okay, or have all their paperwork in order so they can get a jury summons. And then once they get a jury summons, we need to make sure they show up And then once they show up, we need to make sure they don't cop out. Because that's the problem we have. And I'm telling you, black lawyers talk about this all the time. You start off with a wrong and you're feeling so good about it because you're like, yeah, the black folks showed up. Okay, I'm going to pick this jury. I'm going to try to pack my people on this jury. And then the next thing you know, they all raising their hands. As soon as the judge says, does anybody have a hardship that it would be difficult for you to serve? Why? Every black hand in the room goes up.
Look, I was just about to tell you, I ain't gonna lie. When I was working for the state, when I get that letter, that you know what it.
I know, but I know y'all don't want to serve because I know they only pay y'all $8 a day and give y'all lunch, right? But I'm gonna need you to take that $8 a day and take a hit for your people, because if you don't take that hit for your people, then they're gonna get sold out by the all-white jury that's gonna get picked.
Right.
Okay, and I'm telling you, it's hard for, even if I only get 2 black people on the jury or 3 black people on the jury. The other thing is, when the white people start putting pressure on the black people when they're back there deliberating, and it starts to get to be 6 o'clock in the evening, or the next day is a holiday, or you trying to get out to go to the club or wherever you're trying to go, you cave in to what the white people are telling you to do.
Just to hurry up and get out of there.
Yeah, you need to stand your ground. Okay? You are there to be the voice. Okay? To help somebody out, to be a voice, advocate your position. Don't just concede your position to the other people because you're ready to go home.
That's right.
These are the real world problems we having, okay, in delivering justice to our people. And I need people to think about it like, if I was the one who had the case, if it was my case, would I want the black people to stay on this jury and stand up for me?
All right, hey, Ron.
All right, G, man. Y'all take it easy, man. Love y'all. Peace.
Well, holla. All right, Ron.
Hey, Gerard.
What you say?
Oh, man, I don't know who said it, who coined the phrase that you cannot legislate, love or humanity. I don't know what it's going to take for us to wake up. But I know I've been voting since I was 17 years old. And I just think we need to do something more than voting, because and protesting. I think we need to divest from this system, because when we pay our taxes and when we go out there to the French market or the French Quarter festival, all the things, when we go to, you have a lot of black people attend the Saints game. Like I heard somebody talking about boycotting. We do. We got to divest from this system that is, they're not even hiding it. They're not trying to hide it anymore. They've been laughing in our faces since the 1964 Civil Rights Act anyway. Those people hate us as much as they did when they was hanging us from trees. And we haven't done them anything. And when somebody hates you and you haven't done them anything, it ain't nothing you will ever be able to do to cause this person not to hate you.
Yeah.
I think that that's a question that we have talked about before on this station. Why do they hate us so much?
They get
and I don't know that they hate us. I think that they need to make a group of people subordinate to them for them to feel like they are successful. I think we are intimidating to them because regardless of how much oppression they place upon us and obstacles they put before us, we continue to thrive, and that is very intimidating to them.
Well, I think if a human being can hang another human being from a tree by the neck until he's dead, or burn him at the stake, or throw their fetus or babies to I think it's something more than just intimidation. It's got to be a deep-rooted hatred somewhere in there.
Yep. All right, Ron. We got to take our break.
Thank you all. You all be good.
You too, man.
Bye-bye.
Breaking news. Coming up next. We didn't get off the petty bus yet. We still in the window. More coming up, folks.
Are we on the petty bus? Oh, we on the little short yellow bus.
Short bus. That's what we on. There you go, right there. More coming up, folks. Everybody hold tight.
AURN News.
I'm Ebony McMorris. The House of Representatives passed a resolution Wednesday that would restrict President Trump's ability to wage war against Iran without additional congressional approval. Now, the vote was 215 to 208, marking the first time passage of a measure since fighting began over 3 months ago. 4 Republicans joined all Democrats in supporting the measure: Tom Baird of Michigan, Warren Davidson of Ohio, Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, and Thomas Massey of Kentucky. The resolution signals a growing Republican frustration with a conflict that has dragged past the constitutional 90-day limit for presidential military action without legislative authorization. Constituents worried about the economic fallout from the war appear to be pushing some GOP lawmakers to break with the administration. However, the battle isn't over. The Senate would still need to approve an identical resolution. Legal scholars also disagree on whether the measure would actually bind the president to comply. For AURN News, I'm Ebony McMorris.
Attention, WBOK listeners. Are you a fan of the station and want to show your support in style? Well, we've got some exciting news for you. Introducing the official WBOK merchandise, the perfect way to wear your love for the station. Whether you're a longtime listener or a new fan, we've got something for everyone. Head to WBOK1230.com now and grab your WBOK gear before it's gone. When you buy WBOK merch, you're not just getting quality items, you're supporting the station you love.
Looking for a great deal on your next phone? Come see us at your locally owned AT&T store for the latest Samsung and iPhones. Visit us at 3616 South Carrollton Avenue. We have great offers on watches, tablets, accessories, and internet service. Whatever your connectivity needs are, our team is here to help you keep connected. Visit us today at AT&T, 3616 South Carrollton Avenue. Locally owned and proudly giving back to the community.
This is Andronika Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
Get in on the conversation at 504-582-9422. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks. Welcome back. A few minutes here before we get out. The petty bus is still rolling.
Toot toot beep beep.
It's still rolling. And we want to make sure that we give everybody some equal time on the petty bus. We want to give you equal time on the petty bus. Go ahead, play that story.
Orleans Police Department fires an officer for alleged sexual battery, but months later, he's now a deputy at the parish jail.
Chris Joseph reports a government watchdog says Anthony Bakewell's conduct should have kept him from ever getting back into law enforcement.
The level of disappointment here.
Skip Gallagher pours his own time and money into stockpiling New Orleans police records. He uses them to warn you and department leaders about how those officers behave. So when he learned the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office hired former NOPD Lieutenant Anthony Bakewell, his message was clear.
Fire him, terminate him.
The NOPD fired Bakewell in March 2025 for sexual battery. Civil Service Commission records lay out the allegations against him, which include an instance in 2022 when he slapped a female officer's behind, saying, "You nasty bee, you don't have no drawers on." Bakewell denied that happened, but the commission found him not credible.
And these weren't his only issues. Why has he been put in a new position?
Lee Zurich's attention to the details investigation raised questions about Bakewell's timesheets back in 2021. NOPD records show Bakewell violated NOPD policy on how much time he could work in 333 instances, allegedly working more than 16 hours a day.
I think we always have to think about officers should be held to a higher standard. They're in charge of enforcing the law, right? And we want them to be good people, people who are enforcing the law. And we don't want them to be people who are like, well, the rules are for other people, not myself. And we've seen too much of that here in Orleans Parish.
State records show that after the NOPD fired Bakewell, he worked at the Orleans Parish Constable First City Court Office for 6 months. Fox 8 has reached out to Constable Lambert Boissier Jr. for comment. Orleans Parish Sheriff Michelle Woodfork hired him in May, just 2 weeks after she was sworn in. She previously served as interim chief over the New Orleans Police Department, serving with Bakewell.
She understands what's going on. She was the former chief. She would know that officers need to be vetted prior to being brought into a department. And even if she was somehow amazingly unfamiliar with Officer Bakewell's case, she should have vetted Officer Bakewell prior to hiring him. And of course, this would have been disqualifying for any other department.
I asked former NOPD Superintendent Ronald Surpass about his hiring process.
When you look at an employee's past employment record, it also gives you an additional piece of information, which is what kind of employee were they? Were they reliable? Did they do the right things at the right time? So police chiefs have a significant responsibility when they're making a hiring decision.
In your experience, how often do police chiefs hire officers who have been previously terminated?
I don't ever remember one time we hired a police officer who had been fired by another department.
Fox 8 has reached out to the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office and Bakewell for comment about his hiring and his role. Gallagher says the people of New Orleans deserve better.
This one isn't a tough call.
For now, Bakewell is serving the people of New Orleans, regardless of what his record says. Now, Woodfork's office released a statement, did not address his specific disciplinary past, instead saying that all personnel are under continuous review for how they comply with employee standards. Meg?
12 graduates in one.
All right, there you have it. That is courtesy of Fox 8.
How long has the sheriff been on the job?
May 4th.
So in a month's time, you have hired as your second in command the police chief who was over the Brave Cave in Baton Rouge. Now you have hired as one of your top brass
I'm gonna smack that ass.
a former NOPD police officer
Hey girl, you ain't got
who
no draws
was terminated
You ain't got no draws
for sexual harassment
Oh, girl.
over at NOPD.
I see them cheeks.
And you've had 2 jailbreaks.
What my name
Not
is.
1, 2.
Who's this?
And you had a transition member on your team who was a Jeff Landry plant.
What my name is.
And we have it on good authority that you have spent a lot of time up and down the road going to visit with Liz Murrell.
Oh, baby. I just want you to know. I'm like Bobby Brown. We all humping around.
I just don't get it. You've been there 30 days. How can all of this
What you say?
go wrong in 30 days?
It's smiling back
Your
at me.
PR person is working day and night like Michael Jackson. Like they got to do press release after press release.
You said like Michael Jackson?
Yeah, working day and night.
Didn't they take pictures of his
Woo!
yanker?
I mean, they working day and night over there. Just the press release office.
I'm sorry, you got a
Who
mole
you
on
gonna
it.
hire next, girl? Who been terminated somewhere else
What's that one word?
for doing something extremely wrong that you can hire next?
What's that one word? Incompetence. Right?
Well, that's what she accused Susan Hudson of, but this has been 30 days.
George said, who your dad
If
is?
the first 30 days looks like this, where are we going from here?
What that monkey look like? Mm-hmm.
Where are we going from here?
Hey, girl. I see your drawers.
Oh, my God. Well, since we on that bus, and since we've taken it all the way down to who got drawers on and who don't and who booty getting slapped, I guess next we're going to talk about the Nord story real quick.
Oh, Lord.
So the OIG has released a report saying that they weren't screening people's background over there at Nord, and they got
Sexual assault offenders.
sexual assault offenders working with the youth. Now, I'm going to pose this question. Don't you think the timing of this OIG report is a little bit fishy?
That's suspicious. It's suspicious.
It's suspicious. I mean, Larry Barabino has served at Nord without a blemish on his record
Since Ray Nagin.
since Ray Nagin was in office. And now all of a sudden he resigns
And then announced that he going to Hanover.
and announced he's going to Hanover. And the next thing you know, we see this OIG report basically trying to smear his reputation.
Same day.
Same day, the same basic day he resigns, a OIG report trying to say he hired people without screening their background and they're sexual predators. I mean, don't y'all think somebody here has an agenda to justify his release, to justify him leaving, to try to make him look bad on the way out the door so that when they bring in the white man to take his job, we not all up in arms because they didn't remove Larry and replaced him with a white man?
Shamo.
I mean, it just looks a little suspicious to me.
Shamo.
In the timing. If you had this information all this time, and the things in this OIG report date back to 2005 and 2008, why did you hold all of this in your pocket to drop when he left the city? Well, he's not leaving the city because he's going from one agency to another. He's leaving Nord and he's going to Hanover. I mean, why did you wait, though, to drop this when he was on his way out the door? If all of this was going on, my friends, why wasn't this brought to our attention before he left?
And you didn't just get this yesterday. This was a research project.
This was a research project. So you knew you wanted to get rid of this man, is what this is smelling like to me. And you knew you had your little friends on the North Shore you wanted to bring in to do his job. So on the way out the door, you're going to write this pretty little report and you're going to try to say that he somehow didn't do his job in screening people. You're trying to justify removing another black man from your administration.
I don't know why they surprised. I mean, they the ones that voted him in. The people that they let her put on the
and where are you?
review
Where
board.
are you, good Negroes who got Helena elected? Where are you? You're really quiet. You're really quiet. I'm not really seeing y'all moving and shaking, and I'm sure not seeing her putting y'all in charge of nothing.
It's all incompetence. I just had to use it one more time. We still on the petty bus, huh?
We still on the bus. Look like we ain't never getting off this bus.
Yeah, no, he just sped
This
up.
bus is just doing the loop.
Oh,
The loop around the city.
I know. I must stop reaching over there trying to smack that ass while I'm driving. Smack that ass while I'm driving.
I mean, come on. I mean, this is a female sheriff.
Hey, girl.
Hiring someone terminated
You ain't got no
for sexual harassment. To be over, by the way, a bunch of female sheriff's deputies over at the jail and female inmates.
Oh, Lord, the female got on Fruit of the Looms. Something wrong with that. Something wrong.
I'm sorry. I just can't. I mean, from day to day, you just cannot make this stuff up. We don't have to look for the news.
The
news is looking for us.
We're going to go and go get us a drink while we driving the little yellow bus. They're going to be like, why don't you throw the stop sign in when we're going down the road? Because we sitting in there licking the windows.
It appears.
You tired. You just tired.
I'm tired of the BS.
Come on, boo.
Like every day, it's another person they're trying to whitewash and justify getting rid of.
Let's go. You ready? Come on. Let's get on out of here. We done parked the bus now.
Okay, we didn't park the bus for today.
We got some more tomorrow.
Join us tomorrow. I will have gone to Chad Cockerham's appeal, and I'll be here tomorrow giving you the blow-by-blow of what occurred.
Tomorrow morning, 9
Tomorrow
o'clock.
morning at 9 o'clock
At
at the
Civil
Cockerman
Service.
here.
Everybody can come, too. Y'all won't come. Everybody can come. Let's fill it up. All right, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow. Y'all be good.
WBOK online at WBOK1230.com.